Talk to me about the business that got you to 30 or 40 million. Well, a couple things, Ed. A lot of people would have stopped there. Now, taking that to the 400 million, it involves a whole different kind of thinking from what I understand. It involves new concepts of leadership. I mean, it involves you really almost having that first moment where you have to be super aware of yourself and almost transform. Is that correct in what I'm saying? Or what was that journey like for you?
Yes, totally correct. I think that when I made my first 30 or 40 million, I thought money was scarce and I had got a lot of it. And then when I made that money, I started being around people who had much more than me, and I realized there's a lot of money on this spinning earth. There's a lot of money, and there's plenty for all of us to go get who are willing to do these things. And I think what it did is it opened a space in my mind up, honestly, where the possibilities achieved. That notion that you and I had of that beach house, to me, that was just mega rich. Like, who are these people that live in these houses on the beach? Like, how do they do it? And then I realized there's much more to it than that. It was I'm gonna tell you what it was. I got to the point where my fear of losing it went away. So as I was acquiring money the first time around, I was so afraid of losing it and going backwards. Not that I'm not afraid of being broke, because I still have that little bit of fear of being broke, but I have a confidence I could get it back this time. Whereas the first time I did not have that. And so also the idea of the second time of getting people around me that were smarter than me. The way I made my money the first time was mainly building a team and selling. And the second time I made money work for me, not me work for money. So the first time was me earning and making money. The big leap was getting my money working for me. That is a huge difference in wealth accumulation and wealth explosion, is getting your money working for you.
And how do you do that?
For me, it was two ways. One was multi-unit investing in real estate. I've done pretty well in that space, as I know you've had other people on who have done that. And then it was investing in startup businesses that I was in control of in the business. In other words, I found my discipline. I don't just, by the way, I pass on lots of great ideas. I know where I want to be in the early stage. I know the amount of money I'm willing to put in, which is usually 10 million or less in my case. Risk reward, and it has to be a business that I also bring ancillary value to. In other words, it's not just the idea, it's that I can multiply my money by either my abilities, my connections, other businesses that I have, so that I'm a multiplier on my own money in those businesses. And so both of those spaces, for me, have caused pretty massive, I shouldn't say massive, significant growth of my own income. And ironically, once I no longer needed to work for income is when my personal income started to get into the high 8-figure range as well, because now I was really doing the work for a passion play because my own money was working so hard for me.
Wow, it's a fascinating mind shift. And those startups you're investing in, you're careful not to go run them, because then it's just you making the money. You're smiling.
It's me making the money, and it's not why I do it. I do it so the money works for me. I don't have the time and energy and resources. In other words, my portfolio now is probably only about 31 or 32 companies, which is still pretty significant. But if I had to run a couple of them, maybe I'd only have 3 or 4. And the other thing is, during COVID, I've also really discovered, like, I had to come back and kind of get more involved in a couple of them during this difficult time. But by and large, it has to be something I can multiply. For me, mainly, it's usually 10 million and less, and I got to be early. If I'm not early, it doesn't mean that there aren't great investments out there that I could be involved in late. It's just, that's not my play. And I try to stay in my play. When I've invested in things I don't understand, that are late stage, or that I can't bring value to, I've not done well on those, and I've had losses. Okay. And so I've just learned, I got to bring value. It's got to be early stage. And it's up to about 10 million typically.
Everybody's got a dark side, whether you want to admit it or not. Everybody's got one. It's the individuals that can tap that dark side, okay, that know how to use it, that know how to control it. And everyone talks about dark side as it being bad. It's not about being bad. It's about something that's unique to you, okay? It's what fuels you. It's what's your desires. It's your ego. It's your fucking greed. It's what it makes you separate. It's what It's what lights your fire. Instead of having somebody else light your fire, the dark side keeps your fire lit. It's something that's unique to that individual, to you, that pushes you, that nobody understands. Only you understand it. And you see it a lot of time in athletes. When it gets out of control, it's, athletes, business, politicians, all that other stuff. It can destroy you. But the individuals that can control it, harness it, acknowledge it, know how to use it, it takes them to a completely different level. Masks, I love to talk about masks and so forth. In your office, one of your individuals, he's got a Batman thing up there, and I got a Batman and the Superman, okay? So we talk about this. You look at an individual. You look at Clark Kent, you look at Bruce Wayne. You look at Batman, and you look at Superman. Which is the real alter ego? Is it Bruce Wayne, or is it Batman? Everyone says Batman and Superman is the alter ego. No, it's not. That's who they really are. Okay, when they take the mask off, they become somebody else.
Wow.
They become somebody else. Okay, that's who they really are. Batman is who he really is. Superman is who he really is. You get individuals that are so intense at work. Okay, what happens when they come home? You cannot be that intense at home. So what do? Okay, you need a little time to unwind. Okay, you gotta sit down. You become your alter ego when you go home. You are who you are when you're at work. There's things that you do here in your office from a business standpoint you would never do in the house.
Sure.
You would never do in the house. You wouldn't want your kids to see it. All right, but are you really that person, or are you the person you're at work? You're that person you are, You're at work. People have gotten too soft these days. They've gotten too soft. All right, that's why people, man, you're always so angry. No, I'm not angry. Okay, this ain't got nothing. You haven't seen me angry. Okay, this has got nothing to do with anger. I'm just telling you the truth. All right, that's what I'm telling you. Okay, there's too much people, there's too much hugging and too much high fives and all that shit going on when you haven't earned it. Okay, you go to these seminars, you go to hey, turn around, give the person next to you a pat on the back, give them a high five, give them a hug. When I come from, you got to earn your fucking high fives. Okay, you got to earn your accolades. You got to earn your hug. Right? This isn't about participation trophies. You don't get rewarded for participating. You don't get rewarded for participating in life. I got passion and I got inner drive. You got a person that you come into your office. Have you ever given anybody a raise because their results suck, but they got great passion and inner drive? No. Hey, passion and inner drive has to be followed by an action. You have to have an action that follows it. And that's the hardest part. People don't want to have that action. Everyone talks about, man, they got all these dreams dancing in their head. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do. Guess what? Dreams want to live just like everybody else. And if you don't bring them to life, somebody else will. They're going to jump from your head right into somebody else's head. And that person is going to bring those dreams to life. And you're going to be sitting there back thinking, man, I could have, I should have, I would have. Well, you had your chance. You got to deliver. You got to have action. You got to deliver.